Greetings. My name is Josh Golden, Director of Music Ministries here at Hickson United Methodist Church, and this will be my last Wonder of God Wednesday, my last midweek devotion. You know, this week I woke up one morning and I was looking at Facebook on my phone and I saw an ad. I do not remember what the ad was for, but the text of the ad said, "Everybody wants a shortcut." How true is that? In our society, we live increasingly in a world where time seems to be of the essence. Our technology gives us the ability to access any information we want at the touch of a button. We can watch any show, be entertained by any video or any short clip instantaneously. It seems like everywhere we turn, the world is offering us more and more shortcuts to get where we want to be, to get what we want, to be entertained, to be edified in all these different ways. But I'm actually not sure that's a good thing as a Christian. You see, the Bible tells us to be in the world, but not of the world. There's a passage I've been thinking about in Mark chapter 7, where Jesus is talking to the Pharisees, and he sort of rebukes them because he says, "You've taken over the traditions of your world, of your people, of your culture, but you're forgetting God's commandments, God's tradition. You're not being obedient to them." And then in verse 13 of chapter 7 in Mark, he says, "You nullify the commandments of God for the traditions of your world." That seems like a pretty harsh retribution from Jesus, and I think it's true because we often try to do that today. But the truth is, following Christ is about obedience. It's not about a shortcut. It's about obedience. And sometimes obedience can be a long thing. Most of you are probably familiar with the Christian author Eugene Peterson, who wrote that wonderful book titled "A Long Obedience in the Same Direction." Well, he actually got that from a much earlier author, 19th century German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. And Nietzsche wrote, and Nietzsche was not a Christian, but he understood this concept. In art, in poetry, in literature, it all takes long obedience, long suffering toward one goal. I want to read a little bit of what Nietzsche wrote in his wonderful book, Beyond Good and Evil. "What is essential and inescapable in every morality is that it is a long compulsion. We need to recall the compulsion under which, so far, every language has achieved strength and freedom, the compulsion of meter, the tyranny of rhyme and rhythm. The odd fact is that everything there is or has ever been on earth by way of freedom, refinement, boldness, dance, and masterly assurance, whether in thinking itself or in ethics or in art, only developed by virtue of the tyranny of compulsion. In all seriousness, the probability is that this is natural, it is nature, and not simply happenstance." He goes on to say that every artist realized this when they go to do work. Da Vinci couldn't take a shortcut to make the Mona Lisa. It wouldn't be what it is today. And eventually he gets to this point where he says, "I will repeat, what is essential in heaven and on earth, as it seems, is that obedience exists for a long time in one direction. This way, in the long term, something was and is produced for whose sake it is worthwhile to live on earth. For instance, virtue, art, music, dance, reason, spirituality, something transfiguring, refined, and divine." I think the key to following Christ is to be in the world. We have to reach out into the world, but we can't be exactly of the world. God's commands, the commands to be obedient, sometimes in long suffering, in the direction of the kingdom of God, that's more important than any shortcuts the world might offer us. I hope that message can be uplifting and helpful to you this week, and maybe that next time you see a shortcut ahead of you, think about it before you take it. God bless you.